Yeah, so I don't think I could stay on for much longer, but
Yeah.
yeah, I just want to get to the DAWAK
Mm.
and get you guys to share your experiences with that and your understanding of what you know what entails a DAWAK, like a full DAWAK, and what actually happens throughout all of it.
So there's it
Oh
our
yeah,
Dawak
that's
was
right.
seven
It was
seven
way back in
days.
2004 in December, and it was, tickets are cheaper in that at that time. We had our normal wedding not our normal wedding. I
We
want to
had
say normal,
our
but we had our
Christian.
Christian wedding, or the other style of wedding in the States, in San
Mm.
Francisco in September. So the idea was that we'd go back to the Philippines in December because the timing was right, and
We'd
yeah,
have all families
to
be
have
able to
all the
come.
families kind of come in because tickets were
Mhm.
were a little bit uh, cheaper at that time period. So we first gathered, when we first got there, they were already starting the rituals. We were actually a little bit late coming from Manila, from the airport, and they were already starting
So
the prayers.
the total time of the whole Dawak proceeding was probably about 10 days.
Yeah.
Our time together
Wow.
in the Philippines doing what we needed to do was 7 days.
Mhm.
But 3 days before that, the my parents and the old folks had already started
The praying rituals.
the praying rituals. And it's based, as what Mark had mentioned, it's based on omens. So the old people will decide, okay, now is the time to start the first butchering of the first chicken, of the first whatever thing. And the whole run up to it is sacrifice. So we're doing a lot of sacrificing of animals to
Mhm.
cleanse the air, to cleanse the ceremony, to cleanse ourselves, to cleanse the family, to cleanse everybody that's going to be part of the ritual. Because when we do the actual ceremony of getting married, I guess in the indigenous way, everything has to be clean.
Yeah, a lot of it, the first half is about cleansing the body. So which is why
You
cleansing
fast.
everything, that's why you fast. So the fasting aspect,
Mhm.
this is funny because no one really said it when we got there originally. And then we were like, hey, where's the food?
Like, we were
And they're like,
so
you're
hungry.
not supposed to be eating. And we were just sitting there like,
What?
Oh, man.
They did it straight Filipino
Hallucinating
style.
at that time, like,
Yeah, they did it Filipino style. They
don't tell
kind of
you
just told us to
anything.
go there. We knew it was gonna happen, and we wanted to do it.
Just follow,
But no
follow,
one, yeah, just follow. No one kind of gave us the heads up. And then the next thing you do, we realized is like, oh man, you're supposed to fast. You can eat a little bit at night, but you can't. Especially, you're
In
not
front
supposed
of
to eat
people.
in front of people until the gongs have broke. So like
Oh, wow.
that first 3-4 days was
Yeah.
like all prayer.
All
We
prayer.
sit there with the old
24
people.
hours, like they would pray.
Yes.
Like when we got
It's
there,
24 hours.
24 hours. So people would take it in turns. The
Wow.
old people would take it in turns to pray. So the first batch of people
It's
will
like
be up there
shifts.
praying. The others will be sleeping. Then when they wake up, the other ones
Mhm.
come in to pray.
And what
it's
happens is
constant
my parents and her parents have to be there
as witness.
as witness throughout the whole thing if they can. You know what I mean? And if they can't, then they have to have a stand-in.
So
They have a
sister
stand-in
or
or
the
something like
brother
that.
or somebody comes in.
And when we have to sleep, there's also a stand-in as well for the families. So we had stand-ins from our family.
Just constantly in the area. So the area would be like in the compound, in the garden area, wherever the center of these rituals were taking place. It would be the whole.
Which would be the hut, the hut that was built for you. So traditionally in the old days,
they would build
you a hut for you and your family. The
To
community would help build this hut. And in that hut, as you guys first start the rituals, is where that's going to be yours. So all the prayers have to be in there.
So they're cleansing that hut. They're cleansing your house. They're
cleansing the whole
area, perimeter around it. They're cleansing all the people that come in to give you the prayers. It's a whole community being through this whole ritual that has to be cleansed and prayed for to give you then the blessing of the prayers that they're giving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, when we got there, it was tough, man, because the jet lag was for us that was rough.
Mm.
And we were sitting, plus like you can maybe for me, I could probably understand maybe like a third of what was
we can
being said. It was challenging. So you're sleepy, trying to understand what's going on, looking for who can help you translate, and that was tough. But you know, the one thing at that time, because you know what, there was nobody who had done this at the time, like from our generation, second generations. No one had done this from probably because of money, and I don't know, people maybe
time.
and time.
It takes
yeah,
a long
it takes
time.
a lot of time and resources to do it.
Sit there for a whole week, 10 days. Like, who's got 10 days? Who's even got a day? You know?
Yeah. But our families were really intentional about it, especially when they started the family who could get the right resources to make this happen. And so, like, originally, when that was supposed to happen, BBC was actually supposed to be out there. BBC was supposed to document the whole process. But,
really?
Yeah. But because they backed out last minute, because what happened was there was like a whole bunch of like reporters who were getting kidnapped at that time from like Abu Sayyaf and stuff. So like they got,
was a big deal,
scared, and they
also the tsunami had just happened.
Oh, the tsunami happened at that time too.
Oh, that's right.
That was that massive tsunami.
So there was a lot of that. Death toll was high, and kidnapping danger was high, and so they didn't, you know. But we did have some people who did record. We had to pay out of pocket for that one, and but at least we have some. It's on VHS tape. At least we have something.
I remember the main ritual before the day of when we were, you know, when we dressed up and we had, you know, the community gathering. The most important, the sacred part was the night before. So where they were praying, they had been praying now for 4 or 5 days already. 3 days. And they butchered the that was
3 days after we came, right?
3 days after we came.
3 days after.
So they then butchered the chicken. So the chicken, they always, whenever they butcher the chicken, they're looking for the bile of the chicken, to see how healthy that is.
Yeah, and
the gallbladder, whichever. So that was the one that we were all like, oh, what does it say? Was it say good? It's good, and they were like, oh yeah, it's good, it's good, it's good. You know, that was the only thing that I was like, okay, good. The rest of it's fine, you know, whatever now, you know.
But there was a lot of, I can't remember the numbers, but it was a lot. I mean, like in terms of chicken, we're talking like in the hundreds that were, in the hundreds. And then pigs, that was
about 50 pigs.
I thought there was like 17, at least I remember seeing 17 carabao heads. There were 17 carabao heads that they had lined up. And then like
because then after, because all that meat,
so I guess
then is then given away. See, that's your.
It's all recorded in Auntie Karadan's book.
Yeah,
so if you want to get 9 actual details,
because I took a photo of that, and I think it's 9. Yeah, I think it's 9.
I remember
it's still a lot of meat. That's a heck of a lot of meat. So I mean,
they butcher all of that, and that's what you give out as your giveaway on the day of. You know, when you receive your guests,
and that's like throughout the whole week after the gongs. So like, let's say it was about the 3rd day after we had gotten there, and that's when the big community thing happens, right? And so in the community thing, you know, it's this typical Filipino wedding where you like we sit over there and next to your house, and then people are coming by and they'll do like presentations and stuff, and then they'll give you some type of gift, and then they drink with you. So they have some type of drink, and then like
that's the first
after they do certain rituals, then they break the gongs, and then there is no gong playing before that. I don't know in other areas, but where we're from, there is no gong playing
until that point.
And
then after that point, then gong playing throughout the next 3 days. It doesn't stop. It's constant. You can hear it consistently throughout the next few days, and it can't stop. I think there's you have to
you hear it night and day.
You have to hear it throughout. It has to ring throughout until the old people then say no, he stops now. So so all the markers there is when the old people are saying, okay, now we stop. Now the next thing to do, you know, it's all guided by them. That's why you could, whenever we would ask, when are we going to do this? Everyone's saying, well, I don't know. Nobody knows. I don't know.
It's always dependent on the omens of the old people.
But it's all the old people that will be.
But all the butchering isn't just to like to randomly butcher. There was a lot. It was because cleansing. It's part of the ritual, the sacrifice, and it's dependent on the amount of people who are coming in to your celebration. So you always have to feed the people who come. And this is general with all Filipinos, right? But it's definitely if you're doing the dawak, you have to be prepared to feed those people along with the rituals. And so like the gift, it's not like, like in the States, so do we, we give like a nice, thing for people to take home, that maybe a keychain that has like your name, you and your wife, like, or your partner, that is, like, just taking a picture, and you take that home, right?
A fridge magnet.
Yeah, a fridge magnet to take home. In where we're from, you take home a piece of meat, man.
Bags of meat.
Bags of meat that have been all butchered there. Carabao, pork, and chicken. And
it really was like that scene where, remember in Mandalorian, where they took home the crate dragon meat, and you literally have like plastic bag full of meat, and then you're just walking away with it.
Yeah, that same bag that you used for Coke back in the day. They fill the bag with Coke, and you drink the straw. Instead, it's with the meat inside. So, but then like a lot of people come by and they give you really like a lot of different gifts, and it was amazing, man. It was one. Yeah, we'll definitely never forget that. Jay was there, and so okay. You're saying that the number of the Carabao was like 9, right?
I think it was 9. Yeah, but definitely.
And how many pigs? I'm just curious.
Pigs, I think it was about 50.
Oh, that's like 50.
I remember seeing Auntie's book. Like, that was ridiculous. That's when I was like,
yeah, it's 50, and then it's like a whole lot of chickens.
Okay, all right. Because I must have got my numbers confused, because it's been like 15, 16 years now.
BBC should have been there.
Gerald,
especially
Gerald. You and Audrey also, when you went back to Philippines, you also did your dawak too.
No, not really. It wasn't really a dawak. It was just a celebration, let's say. Because I mean, there was I guess there was some praying, but it wasn't super traditional. Nothing like that. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
amazing.
How long do you end up fasting?
It's about 3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days,
yeah.
Wow.
So like,
we were super skinny at that time too. It was like, that's the only time in my life
I was
that I'll ever be
right.
like that. And then I look at those pictures and I think, who the hell were you? Like, don't even.
Yeah, I was definitely about 60 pounds lighter then. But
so for the gongs, was it just random people just continuously playing, like taking shifts?
The first round is all the elders.
All of the old people.
And it was the like, what are the, because I got to play with them. I took the tail end. I remember that. And
yeah, it's not even here. It's not even us. It's like, it's them. It's the older people. And then
I danced with the old people. I danced with the old people at the first round.
Okay.
And the way that they played, it was just like, man, when you dance with a bunch of people who like really, man, you could really feel the rhythm, and it's so right, it's so deep, and then just like everybody knows the movement, And
well, they're only going to put the best on first, aren't they?
Yeah, that was all the old people who've been doing it for years,
and then it's invited to everybody, the family members and everybody.
Yeah, to the rest of the family. I did dance the first round, but like maybe I wasn't supposed to. I'm not sure, but I just jumped in there because I was a little bit too excited. I saw them coming out there, so I'm just running. No one told me to go back.
Yeah.
So
if it was wrong, they would have told you to go back.
They would have said, "Oh," like when they told us not to eat. They were like, "What are you doing?" Like,
yeah, they would have told you to go back.
Stop eating.
It was wrong. So
it
must have been right.
I remember Wendy. She was just so like.
I was so pissed.
She was so she didn't have a clue, man. And she's like, "How come we don't got our food? Where's our
food?"
Because she thought by that time. So what happened is that we were fasting before that, but she thought at least by that time
we would eat.
We would be able to eat during the big celebration. But apparently, then it wasn't.
You're not supposed to eat
until
everyone's eaten, or you're at the back and you're eating like not showing anyone. I was like,
so I would say it was by the 5th day.
And the Jews do that actually. The Jews, so you watch that
Jewish people.
Jewish people, they don't eat in front of their guests. They go behind a door and they go behind a veil and they eat there.
Well, this is so okay. So then you have that big celebration. That's about day. I can't remember day 3 or 4. It's in her book, okay. But then they have this is funny. You might laugh, but there's a day of consummation.
Really,
that?
people are tracking that. They're tracking that.
Well, because that's when you can eat.
Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Once you can eat, you're allowed to eat. Then that's when you can, do your
Go
thing.
make
Because you've been through the
babies.
whole process of cleansing your body and cleansing
wow.
your souls, or whatever, what I mean? Like cleanse yourself through prayer. And then like once the
Once all that's
consummation
done.
happens, then you can, apparently no one really said it, but then they implied it because they were laughing. And all they were telling us was, no
Go have
control,
fun.
okay? No control. Tonight, no control, no family planning. No family planning, no control. And we're like, what?
I remember
is
when they were
that?
saying that. No control.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
And then
at
you didn't
first.
understand it. And it's like, dude, don't you come on, man. What do you think they're talking about? No control. They're talking about birth control, dude.
No family planning, okay? No family planning. So they have a whole discussion and prayers around this, because the idea is that the more fertile you are and the more children you have, it's
More
supposed to be
blessing.
more blessings. And this was definitely conferred by my grandmother, Rosalia, who's alive at that time, because all she ever talked about was like, don't worry about being married, just have children, have children. She just wanted us to have children right away, because she said, because then that's when the blessings will come,
That's what
and
that's
so
what
like the old folks were like
always.
reiterating that
Yeah.
whole thing, at least
Yeah.
at this time of the DAWAK, they were already pushing that, so it was like
funny.
it was funny. Yeah, it was kind of funny. But
That's awesome.
then they do after that, around day 6, 7, they do other
Closing.
aspects of where I told you where I'm supposed to do that, the ritual where I supposed to go out hunting and then like come back. That's why, you ever see that statue of the Igorot person with the deer on his back? That's the one where like he should be coming back from that ritual kind of. And then like you're supposed to have the fire and everything. So the ritual that we did was at least to have the firewood to prepare. And so that's supposed to symbolize the fire of your marriage, and you got to keep it burning. The light of your marriage has to keep on burning. So you have to put effort and work into that. And so that's what that symbolizes in the ritual. Before that, there was also the it's the dowry, your family dowry.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember my parents, it was so funny because like my parents didn't know that was going to happen. And so like they like really said, okay, so what are you going to hand down to your children, right? So this is the day before we do that other ritual with the firewood, right? And then they have a whole thing where they grill the families to see what they're gonna give the kids. And the idea of that is so that there's witnesses there, and then they can pray and rejoice about what's gonna be handed down to the children. Yeah. In the marriage. So that was another aspect that happened, and I think it was it must have been
that
day
was
6.
the day 6, yeah, because then it's all different extended family members that
then everybody else who couldn't make the main celebration, they start coming in.
Yeah, you see, that's why it carries on for so long too, because you're waiting for family members that are coming from far
away, to
come and visit as well.
And that's why you're not allowed to leave the compound area, because you can't leave, or else
the blessings you're gonna send your blessings.
You're gonna send your blessings out, And I think that's why the whole thing with the hunting as part of the ritual is at the very end, because that's when they allow the guy to go out and come back in. Yeah.
So then, what did mom and dad say? We will give him
well,
PlayStation 3 at that time, right? PlayStation 3.
They said they would give me my education. So at the time, I was still finishing my my master's degree.
Ooh, that's good. Education.
So the education, and then of course there are other aspects that we don't need to talk about here. But I mean, like, so moving on from that. Any other questions about that part?